Hello, today I'm going to do a comparison of 7 fountain pens that all look pretty similar. I have the Lamy Ulster, Lamy Safari, a Wingsung clone of the Lamy Safari, an unnamed clone of the Lamy Ulster, a Jinhao clone of the Lamy Safari, a Z&X clone of the Lamy Safari, and a Yiren clone of the Lamy Safari. Let's get started. So with the Lamy Ulster, I've got this one in a nice medium black nib, and it's just got an original cartridge in it. Let's see how wet it is. It's pretty wet. I really like this pen. It's about $80 or 80 New Zealand dollars. So a good purchase. Next we have everyone's favourite workhorse pen, the Lamy Safari. This one's just got a standard Lamy medium steel nib. Also kind of wet, and a very good pen. Next I had the Wingsung pen, and this is a clone of the Lamy Safari. It says it's a fine steel nib, but when you actually look at the this bit of the pen, it actually looks similar to the Lamy Ulster, but the construction of this is plastic, which is more so like the Lamy Safari. So if we compare, let's see how it writes. It's also pretty wet. Wingsung is a Chinese company that makes a lot of fountain pens, and their nibs are pretty good. They're generally pretty good quality, and this clone's actually pretty decent. Just to mention, this Lamy Safari is about 58 New Zealand dollars. This Wingsung clone was about, I think, $2 US, so it comes to about 3 New Zealand dollars. The next one I had to look at was this Unbranded pen, and it's of aluminum construction, so it's similar to the Lamy Ulster, and it also has a sort of translucent, I've forgotten what this is called. In terms of the nib, again, steel fine nib, similar to the Wingsung, so I do wonder if it's made by the same company, except it doesn't have the branding at all on it. Now this one, I'm not sure if I've inked properly. Let's see if it writes. Maybe it needs a bit of dipping. Oof. It does not feel very good to write with. It's very scratchy, not smooth at all. And you can see how dry it is. This might be a decent pen if I did a little bit of work on a nib, but it's pretty bad. Next, I have the Jinhao 777. So this is the archetype of a Lamy Safari clone. These are very, very cheap. They're about $2, 2 New Zealand dollars. Now this one I think I have inked, and of course they never really screw on properly, but they are very cheap. So this one, as you can see, it's a fine steel nib. It really does feel pretty good to write with. A decent amount of wetness as well. Cheap and good pen. Next I have this, quite nice looking pen. It's nice and shiny with a little gradient between green and orange. It's made by a Chinese company called Z&X, and I think the pinyin somehow matches with Z&X. Translucent this bit. So similar to the Lamy Ulster, however this is all plastic construction. The nib is a fine steel nib. Oof. That feels terrible. We might need to dip it. So Z and X clone, very scratchy, not very comfortable to write with. Oof. Still somewhat dry, but just it feels like I'm scratching the paper. It's not very pleasant. It looks nice, but it's actually not a very good writing experience. I think this is about $2, $3 as well. So it's a cheap pen. And finally, this one, the year-in clone of the Lamy Safari. I think this is such good value. This is probably the best one of the lot. So it's also got a bit of a gradient from black to silver. These ones actually screw on quite well and aligns up, unlike the Jinhao here, which doesn't quite line up. Now these nibs are really nice. So it's a steel, says extra fine, but really writes more like a fine medium. The steel nib, they've plated it and anodized it, so it's got a nice rainbow color to it. It's very, very nice. So this, wow, it's just so smooth. And exceptional wetness, as you can see. Wow. So between all of these pens, and by the way, this one costs about $2 to $3 as well. I'd say, and of course if you go with the originals, you can't really go wrong with the Lamy Safari or the Lamy Ulster. They're very good pens, being the originals. Although this one needs some more ink. But out of all the clones, I think the best ones would be between these three brands. And all three of them are known Chinese brands. Most people know Jinhao, some know Wingsung. They also make clones of other pens. Not many know Yiren. I think the best of the three is the Yiren fountain pen. It's got the best looks, the nicest nib, and a very nice writing experience. So smooth. That's all for today.